For my favorite total of week 11, going with Rams Saints under 38 and a half. If you had the Rams under last week, that was just a brutal beat at 7 seconds to go, meaningless Van Jefferson touchdown. So, that must have sucked. And I feel for you if you had that, but we're hitting the Rams this week. And here's why. So both of these teams are slow paced naturally. The Saints are 27th in situation neutral pace, and the Rams are 28th. So you already expect a kind of shortened game just from that. And then this Rams team just keeps suffering offensive line injuries. And I'll get to Cooper Kupp and that whole situation. But Amari Jackson, who is actually playing well at tackle for them, is out. Brewer is out. They might have to start Evans again in the interior, and he's been just the worst in the games. But either way, this Rams team just cannot get continuity on its offensive line, and they cannot run block. It's been just a struggle all year, and they can't protect Stafford either. And remember, he's in concussion protocol now. He did practice Wednesday, but still not cleared. You can practice without being cleared. So I still don't fully get this protocol, but you can practice without being cleared. He's still not cleared. And even if he is, with this offensive line, they might be conservative, but their backup, Wolford, also isn't practicing. So it could get weird for this Rams team. And then you talk about Cooper Kupp. And if there was one player that the Rams could not lose, even more so than losing Whitworth, even more so than losing OBJ in the offseason, if there was one player the Rams cannot afford to lose, it is Cooper Kupp. 31% of their scrimmage yards, 44% of their touchdowns this season have been accounted for by one Cooper Kupp. It is a devastating loss when you couple that with the offensive line injuries and the fact that, Stafford is, he's at risk of another concussion, even if he suits up, just the way this offensive line is protecting. And then on the other side of the ball, you have the Saints team. And I'm starting to think this Andy Dalton offense is running its course. They got exposed a couple of weeks ago at home against the Ravens, and they had been good at home previously. And then they go to Pittsburgh and they don't score points again. And why did I like Pittsburgh?
Who's playing for this offense this week? I can't figure it out. All their offensive linemen and receivers and
they switch it up every week. There's with no rhyme or reason, and yet they don't seem to there's no positive really. Like I thought Shaheed was playing well, and they cut his snaps. Traquan Smith plays one snap. Taysom Hill, after busting out and carrying the offense, he goes MIA. I have no idea what this team is doing without Sean. They miss Sean Payton. I'll put it that way. But why do we like Pittsburgh last week? Because they can shut down the run. And we know the Saints offense, if they're going to get going, they're not just going to throw it all around the yard. Dalton's going to get the ball out quick. Hopefully Olave stops taking these wicked hits, because I don't know how he's taken so many disgusting hits this year already, but great player. Love to see it. But outside of Olave and Kamara, who they can't even get going consistently from week to week, this offense is a crapshoot, but they want to run the ball, and the Rams defend the run very well. They are 4th in DVOA against the run, 21st against the pass, and they'll give up some easy completions, but you're going to have to drive the field against this Rams team, because the whole point of their defense is to limit explosive plays. And they've been able, for the most part, to do that, even though they rank 21st in pass DVOA, which isn't a big deal against the Saints. But the Rams, 5.5 explosive. Well, let me say it again. The Rams, 1st in explosive rush rate on defense and 1st in explosive pass rate on defense. So the one thing the Rams do is prevent big plays, and the Saints are not making a ton of them either. So I think it's going to be a slow-paced game where both, the Rams can't really do much of anything without their best player on offense, and this Rams defense still matches up well with the Saints. If the Saints do get some scoring drives, Andy Dalton's going to have to go the length of the field. Hopefully we actually do get Stafford back. I think he's a little less likely to turn the ball over than Wolford or Perkins or somebody like that, that's the way you would lose this if there's a lot of short fields. But yeah, give me this Rams Saints under 38 and a half. If you can get the 39, I think it should be still out there. But I like this. I think this is a high 20s type of game. So not too worried about the number here.
Yeah, don't hate this at all. I mean, the Rams 28.8% rush success rate on the season. That's lowest in the NFL. The next lowest, the Seahawks at 35. 28.8%.
Yeah, I thought it was I thought it was Cam Akers' Achilles, but everyone's just running like they have a torn Achilles when you're on this Rams backfield.
They can't protect. Stafford is a pumpkin and probably not fully healthy. And now you don't have Cup. I don't know how they move the ball at all.
Yeah, that's what fucked me up. And you know, I give you credit. You were correct on the Bucks, but that's what fucked me up with my handicap of the Bucks Seahawks game, because I watched the Bucks struggle against the Rams for 60 minutes, and I was like, oh no, no way, because this Rams team is bad. It's a bad team.
Yep. All right, for my total, we're gonna get scary. I'm gonna go with the Bears Falcons under 49.5. So I like this for a couple of reasons, not for the defenses. Now, the one good thing is that their pass defenses are real bad. Both these pass defenses, worse than their rush defenses. But you're going against pass offenses that aren't going to kill you. I just think that this number is too high. I make this like 47 and a half. I know the Bears, and I've been saying Bears are a pure over team, but this is like a service academy game. Like, this is two pure running slow teams. If you're not firing on all cylinders within the red zone, like, it's going to be tough to get into the 50s in this game because the clock is going to be speeding. Also, the run defenses haven't been great, but both of these teams play a ton of zone, and they fared okay when, I was going back and looking at their stats against running quarterbacks. They also don't get a ton of pressure. They don't blitz. So, like, I think that they're just going to, you can stay home and kind of try to contain Fields, try to stay home. Like, so much of what Fields does, like, he gets pressure and everything breaks down and he's gone around the edge. So, yeah, both of these teams practice against mobile quarterbacks. It's just slow teams, not great passing offenses, a lot of running. I think it's going to be difficult to get above this number. So, yeah, that's all I got.
And the Falcons, I don't hate it. I'm actually thinking of backing the Bears if they get up over a field goal here. I just think this Falcons team is coming back down to earth, especially on offense. They were the darlings of the league. They were covering. It's like, oh, Arthur Smith, he's making it work with Mariota. They got all these weapons, and now it's just you're seeing Mariota's true colors, which tends to happen with, you called it with Cooper Rush. When you have these backup caliber quarterbacks, as the year goes on and teams get more and more tape and you take more and more reps under pressure, it just goes downhill. And I think we're in the midst of that with this Falcons offense and Mariota. So I know the Bears defense has been bad over these last most of the season, but especially over these last few weeks. But don't forget, Miami's doing that to everybody. Detroit can put up points with the best of them as well. And not as much on the road, but what I'm saying is they haven't faced slouches on offense. And if you saw Marcus Mariota play against that Panther D last week, which is an exploitable defense. I mean, the Bengals put up 42 the game before, and the Falcons themselves put up over 30 against them. So should have been an exploitable defense, and he could do absolutely nothing against them. So I think it's going to continue to trend down. But if it doesn't, it's going to be because, like you said, they're just running. And I don't know what's going on, why they're not using Patterson more. It seems like they could absolutely stand to give him a few more touches, but maybe off the bye they will. But either way, yeah, I think should be a run-heavy game script. The Bears still, even with this new explosive offense, they still run a ton. Like, it's still throwing the ball under 30 times a game.
Yeah. Yeah, and no Khalil Herbert, which takes away some explosiveness as well, and kind of your change of pace back.
He got more carries than Montgomery in that last game, so he was more than a change of pace. He was kind of taking over that backfield.
Yeah, I think he has a lot more explosiveness. So
he does. He's one of the best guys at yards after contact in the entire league. Like in my model, if I give Montgomery and Herbert the same amount of carries, like let's say I give them both 10 carries, Herbert will come out like 5 to 7 yards better, which is ridiculous for, there's a lot of regression involved.
Carries,
yeah. So, yeah. All right. So to recap, I got Saints, Rams under 38.5. I'd take that down to 36.5. I mean, I just don't see many points happening in this one. And Stuck has Bears, Falcons under 49.5. What would you take it down to?
49.5. I would take it down to 48.5, maybe 48 if you have to. But I don't, I mean, I think that maybe you'll get like real sharp money this weekend when some big groups, if they really like the under, where it could go below 48. But with these two teams, I don't think it'll, by the time you're listening to this, it still should be above 48. But if you can find a 49, obviously 28, 21, you want to get that. But I would take this down to 48.5.